Heya Cryptozens, tonight's show. Coinbase would stop staking ETH before censorship. Ontario exchanges impose $30,000 annual limit. And central bank encourages friendliness to crypto. It's 10 p.m. Pacific time. The date is August 18th, 2022. Welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. My name is Nikodemus, and I'll be your host. The cover model, mascot, and co-host for this podcast is Tex, and together we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space and the industry that surrounds it. Keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. Centralized exchanges like Coinbase will become some of the largest validators on the Ethereum network once the merge goes through. That's because they offer their customers a bonus to let the exchange stake their ETH. So I'm the exchange. I offer you, say, 4% to hold your Ethereum on my platform. And I offer you, say, 5.5% if you let me stake your ETH. And that means in addition to creating greater rewards, there's the governance. There's more stake that you hold on the network, the greater a share that you have when it comes time to vote. Now, these are two very important things to keep in mind when we talk about this story. Because with the banning of Tornado Cash, a lot of pro-DeFi people are worried about those centralized exchanges. As the key validators of Ethereum, the question becomes, will they censor people and wallets and transactions as the government demands, or will they liquidate their stake and maintain their autonomy? Especially since Tornado Cash developer was arrested. There has been concern about whether crypto service providers were going to choose the way of decentralization or whether they'd act as instruments of government censorship in order to comply. Here's a number to think about. 66%. That's the percentage of beacon chain validators that will adhere to the U.S. Treasury Department's OFAC sanctions. That they would specifically uphold sanctions against those that the Office of Foreign Assets Control put on their list of specially designated nationals. 66%, folks. That's more than half, which means theoretically transactions would be blocked. Because that 60%, those validators would adhere to compliance demands and impose censorship on a protocol level. So Lefteris Karapetsis is an Ethereum developer. On Twitter, he tagged 5 exchanges. Coinbase is one of those exchanges. And then they asked the question, quote, if regulators ask you to censor at the Ethereum protocol level with your validators, will you comply and censor at the protocol level or shut down the staking service and preserve network integrity? Now, Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, he chose option B to shut down the staking, but he optimistically added a third option. He said, quote, it's a hypothetical we hopefully won't face, but if we did, we'd go with B, I think. Got to focus on the bigger picture. There may be some better option, C, or a legal challenge as well that could help reach a better outcome. Now, I'm personally a privacy guy, so what I'm concerned about should be obvious at this point. I worry that the centralized exchanges would rather take the easy way out, take the path of least resistance, and impose censorship on a protocol level rather than blocking individual transactions from banned crypto entities like Tornado Cash. Because if validators misbehave, if they don't act in the way that the protocol deems as the correct manner, their stake gets slashed. So if they play along and refuse to validate transactions belonging to sanctioned accounts, their stake will get slashed because they're in the minority. And it's not their money to lose. It's their customers' money. So if they uphold the sanctions, their customers' funds get slashed, which is not a great business model, I think. Remember, 66% of the stakeholders in the beacon chain said they would uphold OFAC sanctions. So they would literally be getting their stake slashed for no reason, because they'd get outvoted anyway. So that leaves sanctioning at the protocol level or getting out of the staking game altogether. And face it, staking is everything for Ethereum. Staking Ethereum is a great way to earn. So this is all because OFAC has decided all Tornado Cash transactions are illegal, which Armstrong showed the developer some support. Commenting on the arrested Tornado Cash developer, Alexei Pertsev, Armstrong tweeted, quote, "No developer should be arrested for publishing open source software, even if that software is used by bad actors." At the time of writing, the global crypto market cap is $1.09 trillion. It's down 2.43% in 24. The top 5 cryptos by market cap are Bitcoin down 2.16%, Ethereum down 1.07%, Tether, USDC, and Binance Coin down 3.92%. $30,000 per year. That's how much Ontario-based exchanges BitBuy and Newton will let crypto investors buy. $30,000 Canadian per year. But that annual buy limit only applies to some crypto coins. Not Bitcoin, not Ethereum, other coins, altcoins. That's right. In a move that exemplifies the term picking winners and losers, both exchanges have decided that Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, they're just fine. Now, I was looking at BitBuy's website where they explain this whole situation. Whether you're a retail investor or an accredited investor, you can buy as much of those 4 cryptos as you like. The difference is, if you're a retail investor, you can only buy 30,000 Canadian of anything other than those 4 coins. Now, if you fill out a questionnaire, though, and go through that process, and then the exchange determines that you're an eligible investor, I'll repeat that, the exchange determines that you're an eligible investor, your limit gets bumped up to 100,000. Now, in a Tuesday post, Newton also announced their new changes. They've been working with the Ontario Securities Exchange Commission trying to get registered. And they said, quote, "These changes are to protect crypto investors like yourself and to make sure investors are aware of the risks associated with investing in crypto assets." And the way this seems to function is kind of a limit on how much you can lose over the course of a 12-month period. And the way that they explain it on BitBuy's site is a little confusing. So here's the TLDR on how the limit works. It only tracks the value of a coin at the time you either buy it or sell it. If you buy 20,000 Canadian worth of Dogecoin and then it doubles, you're not in violation or anything. You still have $10,000 more of transaction you can still conduct. So that covers buying. As far as selling goes, if you sell at a loss, the amount that you lost is subtracted from the 30,000. That's how much more crypto you can buy. So 30,000, how much did you lose? The difference is how much more you can buy. Restricted crypto, that is. Now, if you sell into profits, if you can you get to refill your limit, so to speak, but no more. So if you sell and make 50,000 in profits, then your limit is still 30,000. And this limit resets every 12 months from the first purchase of the restricted crypto. Newton's announcement came on the heels of news that it officially registered as a restricted dealer in the province of Ontario. That means they're now subject to Ontario's SEC regulations. And then there's that trading questionnaire, that form they're supposed to use to collect user info like their past experience trading crypto. How much do they know about crypto investing? What's their financial situation like? What's their risk tolerance? I'm not a big fan of this kind of governmental interference, especially where my finances are concerned. Let me make and live with my own decisions, thank you. Now, this is coming from Ontario, which as a province accounts for almost 40% of the Canadian population. That said, each province and territory has their own securities regulatory authority. These all come together to form like Voltron to become the Canadian Securities Administrators, the CSA. Crypto in Canada is on the rise. According to a report from the Bank of Canada, the number of Bitcoin holders went from 5% in 2020 to 13% in 2021, with an average bag worth about $500. The global NFT market cap is down 13.91%. Sales volume is down 8.44% in 24 hours. According to CoinMarketCap, the top 5 NFT collections by sales volume are Genuine Undead, followed by Bored Apes, CryptoPunks, Bored Ape Kennel Club, and Other Deed. And keep in mind, some of these collections have very volatile prices, so do your own research. The Prudential Authority of the Reserve Bank of South Africa sent out guidelines to their subsidiaries. Now, the goal of this action was to help prevent illegal activities, and their advice is as surprising as it is welcome. They're encouraging their banks not to cut all ties with crypto. They're warning them because they suggest such an act might bring bigger problems down the line. Now, this notice was signed off on by their CEO, and this breaks from the past because previously South African banks, they just cut ties with crypto. They call them crypto asset service providers, or CASPs. And this, of course, is due to a lack of clear regulation and a high risk factor. And that is the break with the past, because previously they did let their risk aversion keep them out of crypto. The Reserve Bank is looking to change that. They said, quote, risk assessment does not necessarily imply that institutions should seek to avoid risk entirely, also referred to as de-risking. For example, through worldwide termination of client relationships, which may include CASPs. And in fact, it could be worse. They call such behavior a threat to general financial integrity. And they come at it from kind of a different way. They point out that by cutting themselves off from crypto, they miss those opportunities to treat issues like money laundering. Kind of like the kids' parents who let them drink at home. They figure if they're watching things, it won't go bad. So they've got this kind of uphill battle ahead of them, though. One of their own design, by the way. Late last July, the Reserve Bank released a report. And this was an assessment of risks within the local banking sector. Cryptocurrencies and digital assets were in the top 10 threats as identified by local banks. Also, the South African government has gotten involved. According to the report, they released a regulatory plan, and part of that plan is to classify crypto as a financial asset for regulatory purposes. This plan is expected to come to fruition over the next 12 months. In the meantime, South African crypto exchanges predictably reacted favorably to the news. It's expected that this move is going to help drive crypto adoption forward, which is important to them because there are a number of crypto-related projects that call South Africa home. One is Bitcoin Akasi. This is a township that introduced Bitcoin as a means of financial independence to the local underserved communities. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank you so much for joining us, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. Take care of yourselves, but take care of each other too. We'll see you tomorrow night.